Hello friends, it's good to be with you again. A couple of things to say at the beginning. Firstly, I'm sorry I haven't been online for a week or so. Just a few things have happened which have taken up my headspace, and it's just made it difficult for me to think about these homilies all that much. So I'm back on now. I think that committing to a daily homily was perhaps slightly ambitious, so I'm just going to do regular homilies from now on until this situation changes. Secondly, I'm sorry I'm not wearing clerical clothes. I am a deacon and a curate in the Church of England, but today I just let standards slip, I'm afraid. So I do apologise for that. It's just such a lovely day, the sun is shining and so on. So today I'd just like to say something briefly about Palm Sunday, and I want to reflect on what it means that Jesus came into Jerusalem humble and mounted on a donkey. What does it mean for God to humble himself? Because we think of God as high and lofty, lifted up, don't we? But in the incarnation of Christ, the second person of the Trinity becomes lowly, a human being, and not just any human being, but sort of a peasant really, a kind of wanderer. Now contrast this with the great kings of the earth, the generals who ride valiant steeds and mighty horses into battle, or who command armies with tanks and guns and planes and things of that sort. The fact is, friends, that what's being communicated to us through this story of Jesus entering Jerusalem on a donkey is that God chooses a different way to exert his power. He chooses the power of humility. He chooses the power of love. He chooses the power of service. And so he comes not on a glorious steed, but on a donkey. This is something about the heart of God here. Human beings decide, rightly sometimes of course, to exercise force in order to prevent evil. And this is something which is a reality of life. But God chooses humility. God ultimately chooses death at the hands of his enemies, as opposed to violence and force. And so there's something to think about there, which I think is really profound. But then the other thing I always find perplexing about this story about Palm Sunday is the fact that the crowds welcome Jesus. They welcome him in and they shout, "Hosanna to the Son of David." And yet, a short time later, they're shouting different words. They're shouting the word, "Crucify him, crucify him. We have no king but Caesar." We have no king but Caesar. And friends, there's a great warning here. There is a great warning. We can be loyal to Christ 1 minute, and the next minute, things may have changed. And we're shouting out, "We have no king but Caesar. Crucify him." We are changeable. We are capricious. Human beings, our loyalties shift so easily. And so how do we tell if we're being loyal to Christ? How do we tell if our loyalty is to Christ and not to Caesar? Friends, to be honest with you, I simply can't answer that question easily. It's up to us in the depths of our own hearts to ask ourselves where our loyalty lies. Does it lie with Christ, or does it lie with Caesar? These are confusing times, and the answer to that question is not always clear. But it is the question we must ask ourselves now. And so I wish you a blessed Palm Sunday and a good Holy Week. And I hope to be with you again soon. Amen.